Okay, y'all. I want to talk to you about plea bargains. First off, you should know that they're illegal completely. Um, it's actually not a part of the criminal justice system at all. It's actually a civil contract that you sign, and under that contract, you agree to certain terms and conditions. And basically, you're signing for a plea bargain outside of the criminal justice system, and agreeing under a contract to reparations to the state because all crimes are actually commercial in nature under the United States Commercial Code or the UCC. But at the end of the day, what you have to remember is that they are illegal. The United States federal Constitution, which you'll see at the bottom here, uh, clearly states that all crimes or all criminal activity must be heard in a jury, not through plea bargain. Um, so with that, I mean, our government immediately violates your rights the moment you commit any crime, and the judge is the only one to hear it. Further, it they also violate your rights when they fail to give you a jury trial. But if you agree to a plea bargain, the only way to undo it is to meet very strict stipulations that most people can't meet. Ineffective assistance of counsel under Strickland v. Washington, 446, U.S. 668, clearly outlines what requires for ineffective assistance. But even that, the courts don't care because it's so highly claimed, it's unreal. Um, I mean, case in point, I mean, look, I knew this guy in prison, right? This guy had three triple life. Hey, he took a deal, even though his witnesses got in the witness box, pointed the finger at him, and said, "That man right there didn't do anything to us." And when his mind cleared and he was no longer mentally broken, he tried to undo it, and the court said, "Oh well, you know, tough. Oh well." So this man is now dead, and his name has been branded for the rest of his life, the rest of his grandchildren's life. Um, I met so many guys in prison that were, I'm not saying everybody was innocent. I mean, there's a lot of guilty people in prison, but a lot of the guys weren't guilty of what they were convicted of. In the Constitution, I mean, most of these guys take plea deals, and that's that. And then and then when you come to the what's called the Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act under the federal statute, and you run into unconstitutionality out the gate. I mean, just the AEDPA, which is the anti-terrorism, is an unconstitutional act that says after a year you can't file a habeas corpus in in federal court, which there's no time limit in the Constitution for that. But yet, it is what it is. You know, um, so the whole point is if you don't know your rights, guess what happens? You're going to prison. But as I just had a conversation with somebody from Facebook, uh, this individual said, "I know my rights." Well, that sparked an idea in me because it made me realize that I knew my rights too, but what I didn't know was how to enforce them. I didn't know the procedures. I didn't know how to file a motion. I didn't know how to file a habeas corpus. I didn't know that I could appeal any decision in Superior Court after it had been made by the Superior Court judge. I, your judge says you can't do something. Guess what? You can appeal that to the appellate court, and your criminal proceedings or civil proceedings must be paused. Uh, as long as that case is pending in the appellate court. Now, that usually takes 3 to 4 months. But again, plea bargains are illegal. And there's a whole circus that they run you through, and it's terrorism. It really is. At the base root, it's terrorism. My own lawyer, Douglas Prouty from Plumas County, told me, and I quote, if you don't take this deal, we're sending that little bitch to prison for 60 years. Hey, well, excuse me. Let me correct that quote. 20 to 60 years. Okay? And he was referencing himself and David Hollister, the district attorney. Now, to David's credit, I never spoke with him directly. And I want to be honest about that. But my lawyer repeatedly brought threats that allegedly that David Hollister had made. The police report that shows, law enforcement clearly planted evidence and then argued about planting that evidence and what evidence had been planted, does not allow me to go back and claim, an unfair due process, because the courts don't care. I presented this to the courts. The courts don't care. They don't. They just, oh well, oh well, you violated your rights. Oh well, and they have basically given a license to law enforcement in Plumas County and all out throughout this nation to plant and falsify evidence, documents, and statements. So be careful. Don't take a plea deal. Never take a plea deal. They're going to tell you, we're going to kill your mama. And they'll do it. They'll send people to go kill her. Okay? But you got a choice to make. Are you going to prison? Or are you saving your mama? These people will do whatever is necessary to put you in prison, to put you in jail. So, you had better know how to write a habeas corpus. And you had better know that you have 1 year to get to the federal level. Because in the feds, they care. In the feds, you don't have public defenders and lawyers who are going to jeopardize a $500,000 contract with the government. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to risk $500,000 for one person. Just not going to happen. So, know your rights, fight for your rights, and more importantly, know how to enforce them. Check out my other videos on Marsden Motions and Encountering Police. And as always, I do these videos for Tatika, Nishta, and Kokrishka. You know what I mean? Catalatera.